Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop here at BareRose Garage. I've been noticing that a lot of you are kind of interested in trying to get your stick toe in the water for welding, and you want to learn how to weld and everything. I applaud all of you for that. Of all the skills that you can learn, welding is probably the number one. You can do so much if you know how to weld. But how do you do that without breaking the bank, right? Right behind me, that little titanium unlimited 200 from Harbor Freight, one of the best investments I ever made. In fact, the old Lincoln Century that's up at the other shop, it just collects dust now. After I bought this one, my dad ran out and he bought one too. And now this is the only ones we ever use. Now, the big thing about this welder is it'll do it all. It'll MIG, it'll TIG, it'll flux, and it'll stick. And you can add a spool gun to it to do aluminum welding. So pretty much you can do all of it with it. Pretty much. It does have some limitations, like you can't TIG aluminum with it. But if you're getting into that level, that's way advanced. Let me just put it that way. If you're just learning to, you're just wanting to get started, this, I can't recommend it enough because of that, because it's so versatile. I know a lot of you are scared of being attached to a bottle, but I'll tell you, this one, you only have to buy one machine and you get into it. I pretty much guarantee you're going to like it. Welding is, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I like to weld. The fabrication part of building cars is just, I get excited about that. Almost more so than the engine. But anyway, enough of that. You want to get started into welding and you don't want to break the bank. How to do that? And again, I recommend this one, the little titanium, the mighty green machine behind me, over all of them. I have pushed this little machine way beyond its abilities, and I have yet to pop the duty cycle in it. I was figuring I would be popping it all the time, but I can't get it to pop duty cycle. It just keeps going, which to me, I can't be happier with it. When I built my little backhoe out there, Justin, I was on that machine right there. I pulled it right straight out of the box, pulled this plastic off of it, threw it on the cart, and went right to work with it. I was welding extremely heavy, big, thick material with it, and I had it cranked up solid, maximum, fast as the hardest I could push it. And I was welding for a good, I'd say 10-12 hours a day for 2 days, because I had a short little window. I had to build that backhoe and get up here and get that. I had ditches I had to move, I had stumps I had to get out, and I had little time to do it. So I pushed that sucker hard, and like I said, I didn't once pop the duty cycle with it running maximum for, like I said, oh Lord, 10-12 hours days, just straight welding, heavy welding. And from that, when Dad seen me doing that with this, that's when he ran right out and he bought one too. He had to have one for the shop, and he retired the old Lincoln. Anyway, to the features on it, like I said, it'll do it all. And I like that because, well, if it's a Saturday night and I run out of argon, I can throw flux in it. If I run out of flux, I got sticks. I can throw a stick on it and stick weld with it. It's just wide open for everything. Some of the bad things about it, well, it comes with the standard alligator clip ground. it works. It is, you know, kind of chintzy Harbor Freight, but like I said, it works. But you gotta have a place you can clamp it onto. If you're in a place where you can't clamp to, get you one of these. I haven't hooked it up yet because I got to get the brass fitting for it, the bigger eyelet, and clamp it onto the wire. So I haven't hooked it up yet, but get you one of these. What is that? Radnar? There's different brands of them. It's a magnetic ground. You can stick that on there anywhere. So it's real easy to find a ground. I highly recommend that. The other feature on it, the torch. The torch, it's okay. Actually, I like how tight it is here. I can get into some real tight little places with this and still get a good bead layout with it. The thing I don't like about it is, well, it's Harbor Freight. It is a cheap torch. It's held up so far, but I don't know how long or how durable that's going to be. And I've dropped it too many times. One thing I don't like about it, there, is the nozzles. They're chrome nozzles instead of copper nozzles. So they tend to collect slag a little worse than, you know, like a Tweco that's all brass. So get your set of welding pliers when you pick this machine up, because you'll be cleaning the tip a lot. To clean the tip with welding pliers, they're kind of a funny looking needle nose pliers. They're kind of like this, and you jam them down in there and it cleans your tip. They make there's some stuff called, what the heck is it called? Nozzle snot that you dip your nozzles in that helps keep that from happening. But I found that stuff actually collects dust too, so I don't like it. It gets all over you, and it's just, and after you're welding for a long time, it'll burn it away and you got to redo it. And like I said, it's just a dust magnet, so I don't use nozzle snot a lot. Anyway, that's that. My gloves. You've heard me mention the TIG gloves already. Like I said, I use these. They're just the Vulcan brand TIG gloves. I use these a lot. I use these for grinding as well because they got that extra long cuff on them, and they got a really good feel. They're a kind of a lighter leather. But when I'm welding, I'll put this one on my right hand for my trigger because I can feel the trigger. On my left hand, you see, the Vulcan brand isn't bad, but it's kind of clunky. But I'll put this one on my left hand. So when I'm welding, this is my shield hand, my guide hand. This is the one that gets all the heat. But anyway, that's my welding gloves. In fact, if any of you are left-handed, let me know, because I got brand new pairs of these for the right hand, and I got brand new pairs of these for the left hand, because this is the combination I use all the time. So if you're ever in my area and you want a set of gloves for that combination and you're left-handed, swing on in. I'll throw you a bunch of these in the back of your truck for you. Anyway, that's my glove setup, my helmet, an auto darkening helmet. If you're just getting into this, trust me, get an auto darkening helmet. They changed the game. This was probably the best invention ever in the welding world. The old days of the flip ups, and you flip them down, you flip them down, you flip them down, oh, you give yourself whiplash. Or you get into a tight spot and you can't get your, oh, it's just a nightmare. With an auto darkening, you can put your helmet on and you can just go right to work on them with them. Some of the upgrades I did to my helmet, though, you can see I got a rag taped to the back. Everybody asks me what the heck, you know, isn't that going to catch fire? It's not for sparks. It's for backlighting. When you're welding and you get any kind of light come in from behind you, it glares out the screen. You can't see what you're doing. So that's actually what this is for. And these blue shop rags, the sparks just kind of roll off of them. If they sit on them, yeah, you're catching fire, but you know, I live a little dangerous with that. They actually make a leather hood that goes on the back, but they're kind of spendy and they get hot. They get really hot. But anyway, get yourself a good auto darkening helmet. I'm not going to recommend any of them. They're your eyes, you know. I did go cheap on it, but you know, they're your eyes, so protect them. Anyway, that's the auto darkener. By auto darkening, when you're looking at it, it's like looking through a pair of really dark sunglasses. But as soon as you strike your arc, they darken down like a regular helmet. So it makes it easy to see around you. Also with your helmet, I highly recommend the big viewing area ones. Get as much light as you can in there and as much view screen as you possibly can. Because as you're going, you know, you'll get tunnel vision and concentrating there. But the bigger the screen, the more you can see, the better off you are. It just makes it very much easier, especially when you're in tight spots, you know, and you can't quite get your helmet into that spot where your little view screen can see. The bigger ones, you can get up in there and you can still see. But much easier. In fact, I do have the Vulcan brand one that I actually like. It's a good helmet. It's got a big screen on it, and that's the reason I got it. Anyway, that's my helmet. My sleeves, I can't recommend them enough. For body protection, I use the two-step system. You can see here, or two-piece system. I use the apron, welder's apron. So I'll put that on, and then I got a set of sleeves. I use the two-piece system like that because, again, these get hot. You roast in these things, and the sleeves with the apron, it just lets more air in and it breathes better. The sleeves I went all out on. I did get Black Stallion brand on it. In the personal protection PPE stuff for welding, Black Stallion is the cream of the crop. They have the best gloves, the best any kind of welding protection stuff. Black Stallion leather goods are just the best. They've got the best feel and everything, but they're expensive. That's why I did pull the trigger on a good set of sleeves, and they make all the difference in the world. Oh man, I love these things. The full jackets, I don't like them because you just cook. I mean, after about 8 hours of wearing them, yeah, drink lots of water because you're gonna sweat it out. They get hot, really hot. But get yourself a good set of sleeves. The Harbor Freight, I got some here. Not just Harbor Freight, other companies. They have these little slip-on sleeves. They're garbage. In fact, I use these for shield material. I tried them because I was trying to cheap out, but they're always sliding down. They're in the way. They're just, yeah, for welding, for your protection, they're not so great. But I still use them if I got a place that I want to keep the sparks off of. I'll throw these up there and use them to shield away from sparks. But they were a waste of money for actual protection stuff. Let's see, that's that. We'll get into the meat and potatoes on the machine now. Right now, come on. When you first open it up like this is your gauge here for your metal thickness, and it'll tell you here your wire speed, your heat or voltage, and your inductance. Inductance and stuff like that I'll get into on later videos. This is just kind of a quick overview of the machine and what it does and everything. But these values on here are actually very, very close. In fact, I even set them to this. It just makes life easy. Gets you a dang good starting spot. Then as you're welding, you can adjust it in and dial it in to exactly where you need it and exactly what kind of weld you're wanting to do and everything. Very cool feature. Some of the other things. This one, I leave it on this setting. If I turn it down there to that, if I pull the trigger, it'll keep welding. And then I pull the trigger again to shut it off. If I'm doing long continuous beads, I would set it to that, but I like total control. I don't like things automatic, or I like when I let off the button, it shuts off. So I leave it on that setting right there, which is that, you know, I let go of the trigger, it shuts off. I pull the trigger, it goes. That one, if I pull the trigger, it welds, and then you got to hit the trigger again to shut it off. Anyway, so I leave it there. Again, 99.9% of all the welding I do is with a bottle. The only time I stick or flux is when I'm outside, or if the bottle runs out and it's on a weekend, or I ain't got enough money to fill the bottle. The bottle, that's the one that scares a lot of people because of the cost of the bottle. I buy all my bottles, I don't rent them. So the first one is gonna hurt a little bit. I think this was about $325 for the bottle. But that's the first one that, you know, because I'm buying the bottle. After that, I believe it's $60 to have it. They say filled, but you take it up there and they give you another new bottle to take home. So that is a little hard to swallow on your first one, but like I said, that's only your first one. And the bottle, of course, comes full when you buy them. I get all my gas from Air Gas. Because we've done so much business through them, they give us a discount and all of that. All my wire I get from Norco. Oddly enough, they're a whole lot cheaper than even Harbor Freight is on their wire. Harbor Freight's wire is expensive. It's way expensive. So I don't recommend buying like Vulcan brand wire. I get all of that at Norco, way cheaper, and well, wire is pretty much wire. Whoever made, you know, probably all made by the same person, but you know how that stuff goes. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. My cart, my welding cart, you can see it's just one of those cheap Harbor Freight 3-tier work carts on wheels. What I did with it here, though, to turn it into my welding cart, is I cut this section out so my leads all fall through. Easy, you know, pass through there. And then I took the piece there and I actually laid it here to give it a little more support for the welder, and it kind of makes a bump stop for it there. On the back side here, I took the plasma cutter and I cut a hole in that one and that shelf, and so I can just drop the bottle in it. I really like this setup because you can see how narrow it is, and it makes it real easy so I can wheel it into tight places and that. Very, very good setup. So I think that'll do it up for this one. Let's see. Oh Lord, 20 minutes. Still, man, I have tried to get this video down, so that's the best I can do. I'm sorry if she's a little long, but that's the review on all of my welding equipment. And on part 2, you'll see me burning those motor mounts in with it, and you'll actually see it in action. And I'll try to show you my welding techniques and stuff like that, all on other videos. This is just, you know, the stuff that I use. And again, I only run 220 through it, 240, whatever you want to call it. I don't run 110, and so far, like I said, I have really pushed this machine, and I haven't got it to pop duty cycle, and I have been just nothing but pleased with it. Of all the welding equipment I've bought, I'd say those Black Stallion sleeves and this welder are the best investments I've ever done. So, meantime, I hope that helps you out. Like I said, on the next videos you'll see it in action. Otherwise this would be a 4-hour video, and nobody wants to see a 4-hour video. So stay tuned for the next ones when you see it in action. In the meantime, keep the metal hot. And go check out 162 Customizing. This series is for you, buddy. All right, we'll catch you on the next one.